Hello and welcome to this road edition of the Full Court Press. Filling in for Ben Ross is Kate Constable. We are in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, as Iowa has just defeated Northwestern in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Kate, it was a 4-point game at halftime. The final score only 5. A little bit deceptive, though. Iowa had a big lead for much of the second half. What changed from the first half to the second half for the Hawkeyes?
Well, in the first half, the Hawks were 1 of 12 from behind the arc, not shooting very well at all. So in the second half, they adjusted a little bit, kind of drove the ball more, were able to kick it out, drop it down to the post. And then they also went on a 9-2 run, I believe, that kind of sparked a little energy and kind of propelled them a little bit more, able to give them a little bit more spark.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily an individual, but a very good team effort from the Hawkeyes in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, both the bigs, Doolittle and Johnson, both had great games. They shot really well from the outside. Parenti kind of under the, I mean, not necessarily under the radar, but her scoring, I mean, she had 18 points, and you just didn't notice that a whole lot throughout the game, but she was a big contributor. And then Sam Logic, who only had 6 points, but 11 total rebounds, 4 offensively, 7 defensively. I mean, she was all over the place. So, I mean, it really was an entire team effort today. Yeah,
Sam Logic led her team in offensive rebounds and tied for the game high in offensive rebound with a couple of Wildcats, and she's the point guard. Defensively, though, Iowa stopped Northwestern a lot in the second half and did a good job controlling Maggie Lyons, who was the Northwestern's freshman of the year in the Big Ten. Iowa had someone with an accolade, Melissa Dixon. She had a pretty off night, the 6th player of the year in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, she was a big factor in today's game, yet her stats don't show it. She played really solid. She played fundamentally. She didn't turn the ball over a whole lot. She had 1 turnover, but no points, and that's something we don't see from her a whole lot, but yet she didn't have a bad game, and so that's positive going into tomorrow's game against Nebraska, is that everyone was playing well, whether their stats prove it or not.
Well, the team seems to be cohesive at this point, but there were some weaknesses. You mentioned especially Iowa making only 2 threes, and that's usually a Hawkeye hallmark, that they make a lot of three-pointers. So what do they need to adjust before they face the Huskers tomorrow, a team they've already lost to twice this season?
Well, I think moving the ball offensively is going to be key. They're going to need to kind of get in a motion, cut, pass, do all that. And then defensively, I mean, not turning the ball over. Nebraska is a team that's going to capitalize on every single one of those turnovers. But then defensively, I mean, locking down Jordan Hooper, who's their leading scorer and a great player in the Big Ten, if they can kind of lock her down a little bit, minimize her points, it might kind of give them a little bit more spark on offense, help them to push the ball more, get out and run.
Yeah, no Iowa player on the roster right now has beaten Nebraska in their career as a Hawkeye. And we talked to Morgan Johnson after the game today. She said the key is going to be finding the balance as far as energy. She said the first time they played Nebraska, maybe too flat. Last time they played Nebraska, a little bit too hyper, and they were out of control. So they need to find that middle ground, and they should probably compete at least against the Huskers. Well, we'll find out about that tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow. For Kate Constable, Ian Martin, that was the Full Court Press.